Yo, welcome to Baggy TV. Welcome to my channel. I hope you're all doing well. We've got Daniel Holloway in the house. Hello, Daniel. The Chelsea stand, as always. Good to have you. And Elias. Welcome all to the stream. Welcome all to the stream. I hope you guys are all doing well. Today we've got a lot of news. We've got a lot of news to talk about. We've got a lot of various juicy updates. Abdulaziz Ali, Assalamu alaikum, Shonak Habibi, Inshallah Zian. Welcome everyone. Welcome everyone. And for those of you who don't know, Baggy TV streams in English, but also has another channel which is Baggy TV 2, and it's in Arabic. So we have Baggy TV English, Baggy TV 2 in Arabic. So yeah, if you're an Arabic speaker, you can always subscribe to Baggy TV 2. Well, I'll be giving you videos in Arabic. I've not done it for a couple of days, but I will be doing one pretty soon. Anyway, lads, as you all know, there's a link in the chat. There's a link in the chat, the pinned comment. Click on that, and you can jump in and have a discussion with us in regards to the news. We have updates in regards to Erling Haaland, and we have updates in regards to Achraf Hakimi. Yeah, some big news, and apparently some of this is quite credible. There's also news regarding Wilby Loftus-Cheek, which we will get into as well. I'm just waiting for the boys to turn up. Not sure if they're on. Give me a second. Okay, well, since no one is here, I'm going to give you the updates myself. We'll talk about it when they eventually turn up. Okay, now, the first one that I want to talk about is the big one, the Erling Haaland one. Now, where is this? Where is this? Okay, so this is the first bit of news that came in today. Okay, the first bit of news that came in today was this. Chelsea have made a 70 million euro plus Tammy Abraham bid for Borussia Dortmund's forward Erling Haaland. Dortmund yet to respond to offer. Okay, so that was the first bit. That was the first bit, and then over the past hour or so, we got another one. I'm trying to see where it is. Okay, which is this one here. This one. And it says, Chelsea have agreed personal terms with Erling Haaland. Chelsea have agreed personal terms with Erling Haaland. They just need to agree the fee with Borussia Dortmund. So that's where we are in regards to Erling Haaland. Did you watch the Germany versus France? Yeah. I don't want to talk about the Euros. We'll leave the Euros for another one. We'll leave that for now. I did watch it. Not the best of games, but anyway. So where we are in regards to Erling Haaland, lads, is this. Apparently, Chelsea have agreed terms with Erling Haaland, and that is a big one. That's a big one because it means that we have, I don't know what's the word here, restructured our contract system. We have disturbed the whole situation. Thanks for understanding, but I will be talking more about the Euros in due course, just not for now. But yeah, your comment is appreciated. Yeah, so the Erling Haaland contract negotiation has come to we've come to an agreement with the man, with him and his agent. Now, we all know about the figures that were posted in the press, something between 300,000 a week to 1 million a week. So there were figures like that being thrown around. I don't think it's anywhere as big as a million. I don't think it's a little number neither, but it's something big. Whether or not it will be publicized, whether or not we will know, yet to be seen. But if this is true, if Chelsea have agreed Big up DJ. Big up DJ. Big up RCBN, Luke, everyone. Big up. If Chelsea have agreed terms with the Erling Haaland, that is massive. That is massive because that is one of the biggest hurdles that Chelsea were going to face when it came to acquiring Erling Haaland, his contract. And for them to have reached that milestone, if this news story is true, then that's a massive, massive step. Now, in regards to the other tweet that I showed you, I'll just bring it up again on the screen. Where is it? Where is it? Lads, I'm streaming from my phone, so my screen is quite small. Where is it? Okay, now we talked about this. That's the big one. And then there's this one. So if this is true, and Dortmund have refused it, it makes sense. It makes sense because this is way below their asking price, but it's a good benchmark to start negotiations from. You know, we're offering them a player, whether or not they want to take it, whether or not they want to, accept the player, increase the fee, but it gives us a platform to work with. He's just happy about Cristiano Ronaldo. Yeah, congrats to him. So this gives us a platform to work with. Now, whether or not Tammy Abraham will be going, whether or not this offer will be accepted, it's not going to happen, I don't think. But I think as a platform, that's a good one to work with. DJ Sav, how are you?
I'm good, bro. How are you?
Not too bad, not too bad. Congrats on the Portuguese victory today.
Yeah, mate. So happy about it. We made it. It was late, but we done it in the end, mate. Can't complain.
Yeah, I mean, Ronaldo has smashed another record, huh?
Yeah, he has. And the other thing is he should have got more than 3 goals today. But listen, I'm not going to be greedy. We won today 3-0. As I said, it was late, but you know, the third goal obviously was a pick of the bunch because of the move and the finish. Excellent, mate. Excellent, pure class.
Max from Burton Bowlers, how are you, man? Max, can you hear us? I think Max is still setting up his camera and his mic. Yeah, DJ, what's your thoughts on this on these 2 tweets regarding to the agreement being reached for Erling Haaland with him and his agent, and also the bid that Chelsea have apparently made for the man?
Yeah, obviously, if true, obviously I'm stoked with it. I mean, I did see the tweet going around today regarding this. But like you're saying, I think already, Baggy, I think it's below the price of what they're looking for. I cannot see them budging on that. I mean, obviously, Tammy Abraham is probably what we're saying worth about 40 million. I don't know whether I don't think that meets the price. I think, from what I understand, they're looking for 150 million plus for him. So whether that meets that, I don't know. I've not worked out the maths in my head here at the moment, but I think you've alluded to it already. But for me, it's I mean, if we can get him, brilliant. I mean, under that price, I mean, obviously, I wouldn't complain. I mean, but I'll tell you another thing, Baggy. Obviously, as much as I'd love Haaland to come to Chelsea as my first choice, as I've always said, I do have a second choice that I would love to see come to Chelsea if we can't get him, and that is Daka. I mean, this boy is excellent as well, mate. If we can get him, he's another one I wouldn't mind seeing at Chelsea if we can't get the Haaland deal sorted.
In regards to the Haaland deal, I think it's going to be our main target.
Yeah.
But should that fall through? Should that fall through? I think Lukaku is there because I think from my understanding, the whole Lukaku situation is not totally forgotten about. There is still rumors in respect to this.
Yeah,
we'll have to wait and see. But Daka's a good shout. But I think we're looking at someone who is more established in regards to his reputation, regards to his marketing ability, etc., etc. And I think Lukaku and Erling Haaland fit that bill. I'm gonna try to see if Max is connected now. Max, how are you?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Hey,
Yeah,
Max.
yeah, Max. How you doing, Max? How you doing?
I'm okay. Yeah, just using a different headset today. So yeah.
Okay, yeah, the audio is a little bit low. It's a little bit low. If you can increase the audio, it'll be great.
Is that better?
Kinda. Yeah.
Come back to me. Speak to Bobby, and I'll just put in.
Will do. All right. Sounds good. Bobby, how are you, my man? Bobby.
Hey, Baggy. Hi, DJ. Max.
Hey, Bobby.
Yeah, Bobby.
Where are we at now?
Bobby, we're talking about the two tweets. I'll put them on the screen. For you to see. This is the first one that was out earlier today, talking about the offer of 70 million euros for Tammy Abraham to Borussia Dortmund, and apparently this has been rejected. And then there was another tweet that was out just a short while ago, and it's this one here. Very interesting one. Chelsea have agreed personal terms with Erling Haaland. They now just need to agree a fee with Borussia Dortmund. Now, this one is not a confirmed source. It's not like, Fabrizio Romano or whatnot. But apparently, it's a decent source. Apparently, now the concern I have with this, it's not really a concern. It's more of the point that I have with this is if Chelsea has agreed personal terms with Erling Haaland, that is massive. That is massive because it means that we have reached a new height in regards to what contracts we are able to offer our players. Because Erling Haaland's contract is a big one. So now that is out of the way, I think we can focus on the fee and the negotiations with Borussia Dortmund. Should this report be accurate? So, Bobby, what's your thoughts on this, mate?
It's a very difficult time to be committed to a lot of the things we're hearing in any of these transfers until the ultimate, which is when we hear from the club, and that means it's done. The one thing we are all agreed on, and is clearly obvious, is that we are after Haaland, and negotiations are taking place. As you say, if it's true that we've reached an agreement on personal terms, then to me that means it's done, because the personal terms are a bigger issue than the actual price, if you know what I mean. And the fact that Dortmund took so long to respond to the 70 million euros plus Tammy, which is a good deal, although I thought, would offer more than 70 million euros. What's that, about 50 million pounds?
Something like that.
I think it indicated that they're considering it. So, I mean, for now, we can take heart in the fact that there are negotiations taking place. Whether we've agreed personal terms with Haaland, which would be massive, especially considering his agents and his father, just as you say, I mean, that is, quoting Fabrizio Romano, here we go, I think that's what he says, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. So, I'm just like everyone else, I watch his space, there's a lot out there. And sifting through it all and knowing what's true and untrue is difficult. It'll be interesting to find out if there is any source behind this, and only the next 24 to 48 hours will actually tell if that's true or not.
Yeah. Before I speak to Max, I just want to say I'm really happy to see DJ Sam's internet connection is stable today.
Yeah, mate. Sorry.
Not jinxing it.
Nah, bro. I know. No, I missed your show yesterday, bro. It was an excellent show. I reran the video watching it yesterday. Very good show. I'm sorry I couldn't come on yesterday. I had so much ongoing yesterday, but I'm glad to be back today. I was always supporting your channel, bro.
Cheers, man. Cheers. Yeah, no, it's a pleasure having you guys on. RCBN, welcome to the stream. I'm just trying to add you on now. RCBN, welcome. How are you? How you doing? How you doing?
All good.
Max.
Yes.
My man.
Can you hear me now?
Listen.
Is that better?
Yeah, I can hear you clearly.
Yeah.
I saw those headphones. I knew we have no issues with the audio.
I've just gone back to the tried and tested.
Yeah.
First of all,
Max,
good evening,
mate.
everyone.
Good evening, mate. Good evening.
DJ Sav, well done, mate, on your team's victory today.
Yeah, I was happy about it.
Although I didn't want Ronaldo to score those goals selfishly. Someone's overtaken me at the top of the leaderboard in my fantasy league.
Oh no, mate. Sorry about that.
One would have been enough, but to get two. But yeah, well done.
Being a bit greedy, but I think he'll get a lot more by the time the tournament is over.
Probably. Yeah. So yeah.
Max, I want your opinion on the first part, which is the agreement has been reached, part of the story. And then if you can tell me about the where we are in regards to the offer and the 70 million plus Tammy situation.
Yeah, well, first of all, we've got to look at the sources. The one where it said that the 70 million plus Tammy, I actually did a video this morning earlier, which I posted there. But it's the guy. He's a journalist he's got like 100,000 followers or something, but I haven't heard of him before, so I don't know how reliable he is. So I haven't been able to check others. What I try to do when I look at these kind of stories, I try to look at their past record and see how accurate they've been in the past before making that judgment. There's an interesting tweet came out from Nini, Blue Lions TV, where he said that was fake news or something. So, and I haven't heard it from other sources. So a lot of people were just quoting that particular tweet, and that's what you get a lot on Twitter. You get one person with a story, then it sort of starts to trend. But but there wasn't any other links apart from that one, so it kind of made me question the validity of that.
To be honest, Max, I was a little bit surprised that I saw it posted on Absolute Chelsea, because normally these guys, they check the sources. So the fact that the fact that I saw it on here made me think that there might be some links to this.
Not this one. I was talking about the Tammy one. I'm going to come to this one.
Okay.
The Tammy and 70 million. This one actually, interesting enough, with this one, the source for this one is actually is a podcast by Ian McGarry and Duncan Castles, and this is where this one's come from. In the past, Ian McGarry used to be a very good journalist with very good sources. I'm not sure if any of you guys know, he was the one who ghostwrote Frank Lampard's book. And I saw Frank Lampard was a bit of a leak because a lot of stories used to come out in the press, and he was one of the ones to break them. And I think because that was his relationship with Frank Lampard. Off late, his record has been touch and go. He was the one who said that the Werner to Liverpool deal was done last season. It may have been, as I said, I don't know, because it may have been close and it may have just fallen down at the last moment. So I'm not saying that he's wrong in that, but there's a couple of other times himself and Duncan Castle have reported things which haven't proved to be accurate, and they kind of tend to exaggerate things a bit as well in their podcasts. So I'm not kind of doing sort of cartwheels at the moment. I'm similar to what Bobby said. It's that time of the season at the moment where there's a lot of rumours going about. But obviously we are in talks. We know that much. There's too much noise around to say that we're not. It is going to be a difficult deal to pull off because Dortmund are quite a stubborn club. If it was 70 million euro plus Tammy, that would definitely be laughed at the door by them, because that's what Tammy's 40 million probably in valuation, and they're looking at 150, so that's short. But you start off low, don't you? You don't show your hand fully when you're doing transfer negotiations. You barter at the lowest, and you test the water. You see what they, if they are giving you a flat no, this is what we want, and they stand firm, then we say, okay, then that's quite serious. But if there is a little bit of a chink in the armour, you say, okay, we may, if we push it up by another 10 million or so, then we may be able to get it. Because Marina is a tough negotiator as well. So so it'll be an interesting one. I hope he has. I really do hope he has agreed personal terms, because as Bobby quite rightly said, if he's agreed personal terms, that's a big hurdle because of
massive.
With his agent's fees, his dad and his agent, and his weekly wage. So if we get that out the door, then I think doing a deal with Dortmund, I think we can get that done. If there's But did you see yesterday the Mahrez situation on the boat?
Yeah. I saw that. And I think he even tweeted that he's doing some work behind the scenes. Agent Mahrez.
He got Man City fans excited for a while. Then he tweeted, "Relax, I'm just joking" or something like that. No, it's interesting. It's interesting. I don't think those two were mates, but it is what it is. RCBN, welcome to the stream.
Hey, hi mate. So this is certainly interesting point. So the point that Max told about the Mahrez company that he has, right? And I actually retweeted. I saw the tweet from Absolute Chelsea, and I retweeted that. And a Man City fan actually replied to me with that particular instance of Mahrez and Haaland doing that thing. So again, the claim is that how could he have kind of agreed on terms if he's kind of holidaying with Mahrez? But we know how it works, right? As in, it's all basically the agents and things like that. As in, Baggy, you've been calling all summer, if I'm not wrong, like Tammy Abraham is basically the bait. And like Max said, right, it is possibly a bait. Yes, we're all not sure right now. But if it is a bait, then Tammy Abraham is probably, the best choice, because Dortmund would need a striker, and our next best striker available is Tammy Abraham, right? Having said that, the 70 million plus Tammy Abraham definitely is not going to work it out. Knowing Chelsea board and knowing Marina, obviously they're just throwing a bait, and they're going to go with the second offer if it's true again. Caveat to that. What I see is basically, we'll have to kind of give two players. If not, we have to just give the money. That is the way I see it, because Dortmund, for them, two priced assets are Sancho and Haaland, right? And then I cannot imagine even Claudio Reyna and all others are very young, so I don't think they're going to demand that fee. Bellingham is not moving, so for them, for maybe the next 18 months, these are the two priced assets. So I don't think they're going to reduce it anything further than say 140 million. I don't really see that, because I know that he has a clause next year. He's going to go for 65 million, if I'm not wrong. But 70 million, right? But if, say, for instance, Chelsea don't go and Haaland goes public, say in next 2 weeks that, hey, I am available, right? I'm sure any club will go with him. And I'm sure there are other clubs who also may have the money, may even forget the other plans that they have about transfers and just go in for Haaland, because. I know I don't want to sound reactionary here, but I just watched the Germany game, right? While I know that Havertz is definitely, the next big thing for Chelsea, but he's not the number 9. Recently, in one of my streams as well, I was discussing that basically we can go with a plan B of Havertz, Werner, and Giroud again, right? There's just a plan B fallback option, but I've had a rethought about that. I don't think so that's going to work if you're going for the Premier League. So I think we'll definitely need a Haaland no matter what. And we may have to, they definitely make the offer 1.5 times what we have, if it's true.
Yeah.
RC, sorry, you just mentioned something, RC, about he's on holiday.
Just one second. DJ Sab, that topic that you're messaging me about, remind me to address it towards the end of the video. I want to give it some time. And hopefully by then we'd have more. So keep following that, and we'll address that at the end of the video. Sorry, Max, carry on.
No, I was just saying, RC, you said he's on holiday at the moment, so he's maybe not negotiating, but he's on a yacht. Whose yacht is it? That's the question.
Interesting. That's a good call. Yeah.
All right. Listen. I checked it out. Yeah, that yacht that he's on actually has one floor less than Abramovic's yacht.
Oh,
Abramovic's yacht is just that little bit bigger. Just that little bit bigger.
He's got new
more
one.
than one yacht there.
No, but I'm talking about the one that he bought a couple of years back. There's a picture. I mean, if you look at that picture that he's standing on the shoreline, there's a yacht in the background, and it's just a little bit smaller than that one. Just a little bit smaller. But you never know. It might be the mirage of the sea and whatnot. It might look a little bit smaller. It might be the same one. We'll have to wait and see. But listen, regarding Richard's comment here, I agree. Chelsea do a lot of their work behind closed doors.
Yeah.
Not a lot of their work is publicized until right at the end. But that being said, it is so hard to keep a deal of this nature behind closed doors. It's such a high-profile deal, high-profile player. The agent, we know, is not one of those agents that keeps things on the down low. He likes to talk a little bit. So, these rumors that we're hearing, take them with a pinch of salt, 100%. But at the same time, there's no smoke without fire. And I think with Erling Haaland, there's a lot of fire going around. And I think, there is definitely something there. And all of these stories, they do have some sort of accuracy, whether it's 10%, 50%, 100%, they do have some sort of accuracy. So we take it with a pinch of salt, but, stay focused on it. So I think Erling Haaland is coming to Chelsea. And I think so is the other player that we're going to be talking about in a minute. I just want to ask you guys one thing before we go and talk about the Achraf Hakimi story. I want to ask one specific thing regarding Erling Haaland. What impact is this massive contract that has apparently been agreed going to have on the other players at Chelsea Football Club? Open to all of you.
I over the weekend went on, I have to say, a very, very interesting stream. Apart from you and Max, I've never enjoyed a stream more than I did this day. This is Miz, a guy from Australia. There's a lot of intelligent talking on that stream, a lot of good stuff. And out of that came the impact of a Haaland deal on the wage structure. And there's quite a bit of misinformation on wages. And I had a look at the wages because it was all triggered by the fact that we're still waiting on the Rudiger deal. And people were saying that Rudiger's on 50k a week, which is not true. Rudiger's on 100k a week, which a lot of the players are. And he is probably due a wage increase, as a lot of the players are. Including the likes of Kante, who's on about, I think Kante's on about, 160, 170?
I thought it was 270 or something, someone said.
No, the highest paid player at Chelsea, believe it or not, is Ben Chilwell, and he's on 190. César Azpilicueta is on 145. So I'm looking at it that, Haaland will probably end up being on about 300k a week. Now, for the wage, for the price that he will cost the club, I don't really see that being as something that will rattle the rest of the squad. What will rattle the rest of the squad is if he comes and after a season he doesn't perform. Then some people will think, okay, what's going on here? But if he comes and he performs, no footballer at a club like Chelsea expects everybody to be at parity. None. And to be fair, people were attacking the Callum Hudson-Odoi wage. He's on 180, he's a kid, he's not even proving he's worth it. But we did that to keep him. There was a ploy behind that. And there was no sign-on fee or anything of the like. And people think that he's earning massively above the others. Yes, he is, but a lot of them are coming up for re-contract negotiations. So I don't think we should be too worried about that. The only time we would be worried is if indeed, which I don't think is ever going to happen, he comes and he's earning 600k a week. Then it's an issue. And not so much an issue in that there is the disparity between his income and the rest of the squad, but the fact that the rest of the squad might think, look, you're paying this guy over $500,000 a week, which I think comes to some ridiculous amount a month. You know, that shows you've got the money to do it. So, you know, I deserve, you know, then the wages will be at about a minimum of 200k per player, first team player. So I think he's going to end up being around 300, max 350. And that's where the negotiation is. So if it's true that this has been agreed, wow, unbelievable.
Max, 1 second. Do you see that the bonuses could play a bigger part in his contract, whereby, you know, if he scored X amount of goals, this, could this have been brought in so that his contract looks reasonable, but it also has clauses to bolster that, you know, X amount of goals, X amount of appearances. Do you see that being employed, Max?
You know what? You just read my mind. That's exactly what I was going to say. Yeah, it's like we're on the same mind like that. So yeah, because I was going to say that he's probably going to be on the basic, because that's what Manchester City do a lot as well. That's how they get round this fair play. Yeah. So they don't pay it, and what they do, they bump it up in bonuses. Like, if we win the league, you're going to get this amount. If you score X amount of goals, you're going to get this or that. And so it'll probably be achievable bonuses for Haaland. So it obviously for the rest of them, it's, you know, okay, it's kind of parity of what we were getting, 180, 190, and it may be like 10,000 a goal or something like that. And then if you meet these certain targets, then you'll get this much. So over the period, it may work out to be about £300,000 a week or whatever, you know, with these achievable bonuses that you'll get. So I think that's the way around it.
Yeah.
I actually, sorry, should I come in, or DJ?
No, go ahead.
So I just had a point to Bobby's point, right? So I kind of agree with most of the points that Bobby mentioned. One point that I would like to come back to is, like, yeah, I agree that, you know, the salary structure is not going to massively affect the players, because in this day and age, players are well trained, they are well counseled, they have like a team behind them who kind of, you know, puts them in the right place in the frame of mind, right? Having said that, like, Haaland is he's 2021, and many of our players are of the same age. So imagine, like, I know Mason Mount, for one, is definitely a team man, but there will certainly be some rumblings in team. Like, at the end of the day, these are very young guys. Mason Mount, who's played literally 100 games for us. Like, today, if you have to tell me in the world, pick the best squad, right? Mason Mount is there as well. Haaland is definitely there, but Mason Mount is there as well in the best 25 in the world. So, like, a guy like him gets a certain amount and Haaland gets, like, you know, astronomical amount, is something which is going to rattle eventually. Like Bobby said rightly, like, if he doesn't perform, yes, but I don't think they're going to wait an entire season. That's not Chelsea, like, you know. So there is a certain amount of, you know, say, backlash that is quite possible behind the scenes. So yeah, it is much better that we go for like a performance incentive kind of a plan instead of just the salary. But then it comes down to the initial fee itself, right? So if the initial fee is something great and, you know, Chelsea kind of breaks the bank, then Haaland will be convinced that, okay, these guys really want me, and maybe him and his camp may be, you know, okay to negotiate on the salary. And that's what I think.
Before I go to DJ, Bobby, do you want to address this comment? Bobby?
Sorry, I was on mute. Yeah, I was going to say Rudiger's agent is in the chat. You know, Rudiger is not far off most of the other players. He's 40k short of Aspi, and I don't think he would be demanding 200k, and neither do I think PSG would want him and give him 200k. Well, certainly not this summer, They might do if he runs down his contract and goes on a free next summer. I just don't see it. I mean, I can see Rudiger asking for about 150, and you see, you've got to also take into consideration the tax on the income of these players. You know, sometimes there's no point earning 200k and after tax walking home with 100k, and earning 150 and after tax walking home with 100k, if you know what I mean. So, you know, sometimes these are just figures. You know, how many noughts do you want to put on a standard of living of 100, you know, of 100k? You know, it's relative. You know, these people have people making negotiations for them. You know, somebody alluded to the fact that Haaland is on holiday. What's he negotiating? Well, he would never do his own negotiations anyway. So, you know, it could be happening. And, you know, he's just there relaxing, waiting to get the phone call to tell him what he's got, more or less. So this guy that disagreed, I think it's a bit too, you know, people are getting too personal in this. Oh, you know, he's got 100k. Oh, I like this player. He has to have 150k. It doesn't work like that. Doesn't work like that at all.
Okay, fair enough. DJ, your thoughts on the contract and the
Yeah, I think my only thing on it, I think it will be obviously, you know, we've obviously we've won the Champions League. I think the players will obviously look into situations like that. You know, we've won Champions League. Okay, what's Haaland won? But he really shouldn't really make a thing really on it. I think the players are going to get their bonuses anyway. I'm sure a lot of their salaries is going to go up anyway for a few of them, so they're going to get new contracts. So it shouldn't be a problem. I think the only person that would probably, if anyone I can see may cause the problems in any of this, would probably be Riola, his agent, because his agent gets some of those fees as well. And again, it depends on what he gets as well. So I shouldn't think it should be a problem. You know, I think hopefully we can get it sorted out. But yeah, I can't see it being a major thing unless Haaland's one of them kind of players that says, you know, I want this, you know, I can go and get this X, Y, and Z at this club, and you're only offering me this. But nah, if he wants Chelsea, which it seems like he wants anyway, you know, then yeah, I can see it all going through as normal. Should be okay.
Okay. All right. Yeah. No, I think the contract. Listen, not just the contract. The whole scenario about Erling Haaland is going to be one of those. What's the word here? One of those cornerstones to a change in the way footballers are being sold and the way transfers are being done. Similar to what we saw with Paul Pogba when he transferred. Similar to what we saw with Neymar. Big transfers like that set a new benchmark in regards to contracts, in regards to player values, and I think the Erling Haaland deal will definitely be doing that. I'm going to move on to the Achraf Hakimi story. I'm just trying to find the tweets I have on here.
Becky, just before you do, can I just make one comment that I heard from the France-Germany game? It was just the commentator, and he said that Mbappe can still walk. You know, the owners of PSG are putting out their chest saying he's going nowhere. He's got a contract with only a year left, and they haven't sat him down to extend it. Now, sometimes, you know, this is what I said before. How many zeros is enough? There comes a time where these guys will say, well, look, I've earned more than anybody could dream of in a lifetime, you know, despite all my charity work. Now I have to focus on my legacy. He could walk. Mbappe could walk. You know, people reckon he's invincible. He's loved in France. But what quality of football is he really getting? Is he really stretching himself? He's a 22-year-old man. This is his time. So watch this space. Sorry to interject. I just thought I had to throw that out there.
No. It's a really crazy situation when it comes to Mbappe, because Mbappe is probably one of the most highly valued footballers on the planet right now, and he literally can be on a free transfer next summer because his club hasn't managed his contract situation well. And it's crazy how they haven't put on an extension, an automatic extension, towards the last year, like we did with Giroud. I mean,
well, he has to agree to it first.
No, if they put in as a clause where it can be triggered automatically by the club, he doesn't have to agree to it. But it's something he has to agree to initially. Yeah. No, I understand that. And that's what I'm saying. You have Mbappe. You brought him in. Give him the right contract. When you're spending so much on a player, you need to do that. Max, you want to jump in here?
No. I said he's probably going to broke Madrid anyway, so he's got his.
Listen, lads. I want to talk about Achraf Hakimi. We got two tweets. We got this one. Apparently, Chelsea have been in contact with Achraf Hakimi's agent, and not yet with Inter Milan. So we haven't spoken to Inter Milan. We've spoken to his agent, and this is from Fabrizio Romano. So Chelsea have been in contact with Hakimi's agent, guaranteed. When Fabrizio Romano says it, it's done. And then the second tweet that I want to look at is this: Achraf Hakimi's agent. Apparently, he said this. The only one who is going to be leaving Inter at the moment is Hakimi, who I represent. So Hakimi is leaving Inter Milan. Hakimi is going somewhere. Where is he going? Chelsea or Paris Saint-Germain? Because apparently they are the two clubs that have been talking to Hakimi's agent. PSG and Chelsea. We also know that PSG is looking at other targets when it comes to the right back position. So by his agent saying this, that means he has been offered something that he likes looking at, both from PSG or from Chelsea or from one of them, whereby he's saying that should this go through in regards to the other side of it with Inter Milan, then Achraf Hakimi is leaving. What do you guys make out of the story? What do you guys think? I mean, is this a done deal for Chelsea? Is there more to this? Where do you guys stand on this?
I think. Sorry, go ahead, DJ.
No, I was just going to say it's an interesting one, Baggy, because I saw a few of these tweets going around today about Hakimi. One tweet said, obviously, his agent saying that he's going to be leaving Inter Milan. The one you just pointed out. And the other one I actually read out today was that he came out and actually said, if it's true, that he still prefers Paris Saint-Germain over Chelsea. Now, for me, if he's actually come out and actually said that with his own mouth, that he actually prefers to go to Paris Saint-Germain than Chelsea. Now, I know Paris Saint-Germain looking at Serge Aurier from Tottenham as a possible replacement for him, if they possible target if they can't get him. But it looks like that he's actually obviously he'd be one player I'd love to see come to Chelsea. But I always say I want players that want to come and play for Chelsea. But when you're coming out and saying if it's true, what I'm reading from what he's saying that he wants to go and play for Paris Saint-Germain, then I'd say to myself, regardless of this deal happening or not, do we really want to have a player come into our football club that doesn't really want to be there? Now, people can say it could be the money, it could be the size of the club. I get all that. But at the end of the day, if he's actually come out and said for himself, his own mouth, that I want to go to Paris Saint-Germain, that for me is a bit of a concern. As much as I love the player and I love to come to Chelsea, you want players to come and play for our football club and want to wear that shirt and that badge. You get me? So I'm sure if you guys are in agreement with all this. I mean, I don't know. But
but I'm not sure whether it's a direct quote, though.
Max, one second. DJ, do you think that Achraf Hakimi and Hakim Ziyech talk regularly? Are they mates? Are they just teammates? Or do you think they're mates? What do you know about their relationship?
I'm assuming, I don't know what the relationship is. I'm sure they probably are talking. I'm sure when they obviously go into, I'm sure they are talking. And obviously, if you read the comments I've sent, we're going to talk about later on. That is a concern for me as well. So that's how for me. That's how I'm looking at the situation. Do you get
exactly.
Me? So,
exactly. Yeah. I mean, that's how I'm looking at it as well. Because if you're about to go to a club, but one of your mates is apparently unhappy, and he's telling you, think about it again. That could be a factor. I'm not saying it is, but it could be a factor. We'll talk about it. in more details later on in the stream. Lads, just so you know, I'm going to be talking about 2 more stories after we finish with Hakimi. I'm going to be talking about Ruben Loftus-Cheek briefly, and we'll be talking about Hakim Ziyech again briefly. So those are the 2 stories that we'll be covering after we complete the Hakim Ziyech story. Lads, and if you're in the stream and you haven't hit the like button yet, what are you waiting for? And if you're new to Baggy TV and you haven't subscribed yet, again, what are you waiting for?
Smash it, everyone.
Smash it.
Come on.
Max, go ahead, mate. Sorry to interrupt you.
No,
ahead,
let RC speak first, because I think he was going to speak before.
No, thanks, Matt.
Yeah, then
That's okay.
After.
That's okay. So so what I was going to say is like this is basically they're playing like a chess match, right? I think all the parties here, it's basically tactics of the transfer market and nothing else, in my opinion. One place there is PSG, right? So like if what DJs have said is actually true and legit, that Hakimi is preferring PSG. PSG on the other hand is kind of maybe just it's a rumor that they want Serge Aurier. Like for God's sake, I cannot think why would they want Serge Aurier over Hakimi. Like I know the price talks, money talks, but there's a huge difference in quality in the two. So just that talk, maybe knowing that Hakimi wants PSG for PSG to get the value down, possibly that can be one aspect. Come back to Inter Milan, rather I would say Hakimi's agent, right? So Hakimi's agent says that he's the only one leaving Inter Milan. So I know that means that he's the one leaving Inter Milan, but I don't think he for once can decide that he's the only one leaving Inter Milan. Inter Milan may have told him that.
I'm just going to touch for 1 second. You see, Hakimi's agent is the agent for 2 of the 3 players that are supposedly on the way out. Lautaro Martinez and Achraf Hakimi. And I think he's trying to say that Lautaro Martinez is actually staying. Achraf Hakimi is the one on the way out. I think that's what he's trying to hint to. Sorry to interrupt you, mate. Carry on.
No, perfect. So that's fair, right? But at the end of the day, that could also be a ploy from Inter Milan. Inter Milan need the money. I don't think they're in a position to say that, okay, we are just going to sell 2-3 players. I know that they got rid of Conte for the reasons that we know of. But they may be in a position that, okay, they may have to sell more players than that. And they do have a squad as well, after all, right? So I think it's basically, just beating around the bush, and they're just basically what they're doing is Inter Milan is trying to play with Hakimi's agent. Hakimi's agent is basically, trying to play with the PSG and vice versa. And then Chelsea are in the mud because of the fact that these 3 parties are just negotiating in between them. And yes, definitely Chelsea are interested. I think the tweet that you just showed definitely is true. If Fabrizio Romano says that's something that you've got to believe it. And Chelsea are going for him. Whether they will pay the money that Hakimi and his agent and Inter Milan want, I don't think that is a fact as well, because of what I just spoke about, right? So I believe that it comes down to basically PSG being able to pay that money or not. If not, for sure he's coming here.
Right. Okay. Here's my thing. In answer to your DJ sub, what you're saying about him, there was no direct quote saying that he would like to join PSG over Chelsea. I think this claim came from the Daily Express or something. But if I don't hear a direct quote, I tend to not believe the story. But even then, you have to look at the context. Because let me tell you a quick story about Ruud van Nistelrooy. Years ago, he was linked with Manchester United and Arsenal. And a Sky reporter said to him, "Oh, would you like to join Arsenal?" So obviously he's not going to. He gave the diplomatic answer of, he didn't say no. And what the Sky headlines was at 10 o'clock. Oh, Ruud van Nistelrooy says he wants to join Arsenal. It didn't say that, because they showed the quote. He was, put in an awkward position where he didn't want to upset anyone. So I haven't seen any direct quotes. It's just said, all I've seen is there's a claim that Hakimi prefers PSG to Chelsea. And so if it's a claim for me, I'm dismissing that. Yeah. RCBN, what you said earlier about the link to Aurier, from what I'm hearing is that Pochettino prefers a 4 at the back system rather than a 5 at the back. And Hakim is seen more of as a wing back rather than somebody. He can play a right back, yeah, but he's more comfortable as a wing back rather than as a right back. Plus, Pochettino was the guy who brought Aurier in from so he respects Aurier because he had him at Tottenham, and so it's his preference. There was reports, as I said, if they are to be believed, that the board want Hakimi, but Pochettino would prefer to have someone like Aurier. And if Tuchel, if we've spoken to his representatives, and we're probably going to stick with the five at the back that we're playing at the moment. And if it's his preferred option, and if he's spoken to Tuchel, then I don't see why he'll pick PSG ahead of us, because he's playing in the position that he prefers. He's going to be playing for a manager who wants him rather than a manager who's not really keen on him. Who will just so for me that is also like the selling point of this move as well, And he's going to be playing for the champions of Europe. So what more, unless he's motivated by money, and PSG are going to be offering a bigger contract.
Yep. Bobby, any thoughts on this topic?
Yeah, I can't disagree with anything that's been said so far. Even DJ's point, although like Max, I tend to doubt the truth behind a quote from him, especially at this kind of immature stage of anything. The point I also want to make about this is one thing I've learned to admire in footballers is that they're not, especially footballers in top clubs, they're not moved by what their friends do. The whole, look at the whole sort of Declan Rice, Mason Mount situation. Now, Declan Rice would love to come to Chelsea, yes, but he would love to come to Chelsea anyway without Mason Mount. And he's not going to upset West Ham to do that. So I don't think, I don't know how close Hakimi is with Ziyech. I don't even know if Ziyech is unhappy at Chelsea. He's only just got here, and he spent half the season injured anyway. So, it's next season that would really tell. So I doubt very much if there's any issues there between Ziyech and Hakimi coming to Chelsea. It's interesting that it's contact has first been made with the agent, but I think that's a sort of Chelsea way to smooth the path, because it seems Chelsea seem more confident doing business with the clubs than and having the agents on side than the other way round.
But Bobby, this is two big targets, and both are talking as if the agreements have been initially made with the agents. So both Haaland and Achraf Hakimi, seemingly talks are done with the agents. And I think even Kai Havertz, we reached an agreement with the agent before we reached the club. Yeah,
that's the point I made. The agents are difficult people. And if you reach an agreement with the club without the support of the agents, you could have a very, very difficult time getting it across the line. So I think that's the thinking behind that, I believe.
Yeah. No, it's the right way to go about it, I believe. It's the right way to go about it. The thing I want to ask you guys is this. I didn't ask you this about Erling Haaland because I think we all agree in regards to the impact he will have and how much Chelsea need him. Because we do need a goal scorer, we do need a clear number 9. But in regards to Achraf Hakimi, do we really need to go for him? Maybe we need a player in that position, but do we need to go for him at this value, at this price, or should we be looking at alternatives for a lesser price tag? I'd
love to start with this one.
To you guys. Go on, Bobby. Yeah, go ahead.
This is a funny one because, like everybody, I think there has to be the manager's choice. And Achraf Hakimi seems very much the manager's choice. And a manager often sees something in a player that he wants that probably most of us don't see. A perfect example of that is Ben Chilwell. Lampard really wanted, it was Chilwell or nothing with him. just like he did with Declan Rice. And we now see what he saw in Chilwell, to be fair to him. Chilwell's a very good player. So good that he was even prepared to tell the club to make him the highest paid player at the moment in the club. So Tuchel, after the magic he's done with the club so far, if he wants Hakimi, and he really wants Hakimi, I want Hakimi, you know, because he must have seen something there. He must have.
Yeah, for me as well, I think he probably sees Reece James's position as the right centre-back going forward. If you look at some of the big games that we played this season, he preferred Aspi as a right wing-back, and with Reece James in the centre. Also, if you look at when he first came in, he tried Callum Hudson-Odoi in that position as well. So he rates Reece James, don't get me wrong, but I think he sees him more. I'm not sure if he sees him as a right wing back, to be honest. Otherwise, we probably won't be looking at someone like Hakimi. And one thing Hakimi does offer us as well is his versatility, because he's got a good left foot. His left foot isn't just for standing on. He knows how to play with his left foot. He's played left wing back before. He can even play as a winger. So we've got options with him as well in the side in multiple positions. And I think Tuchel likes those sort of versatile players as well. So that's why I think, and he's world class in that position. So if a world class player is available in that position, no matter who you've got in your side, you go for them, and it's up to the likes of Reece James and everyone else to step up. You know, because Mason Mount is a prime example. You know, he didn't play the first game when Tuchel was under, and we know we brought in the likes of your Kai Havertz and your Ziyech's, but who's the first pick in midfield? It's Mason Mount. So you step up and you prove that you're going to be a first teamer. So these big players coming in. If I'm a good player myself and I'm playing for the club, I see it as motivation for me to step up my game so that I'll be in the first team. I wouldn't see it as a threat.
Yeah, good point. Boogeyman, welcome to the stream.
Hey, hello guys. How are you guys doing?
Hey, Boogeyman.
Hey, Boogeyman.
We're good. Boogeyman, we discussed Erling Haaland, and now we're discussing Achraf Hakimi. The question that I've posed is Achraf Hakimi the right wing back for Chelsea at that price, or should Chelsea look for an alternative at a cheaper price? I mean, what does he add that somebody else can't add? So basically, make a case for whether we want to go for Achraf Hakimi or maybe we should look elsewhere. That's the topic. So it's open to everyone. So whoever wants to jump in, go ahead.
Yeah. So Boogeyman, you can go. It's okay.
Oh, okay, good. Thanks. I think last season in Italian league, Hakimi was the best left wing back, right, in the league last. So based on just that, I will say, depending on who is buying player at Chelsea, if it is our sporting director or Tuchel, I don't know which one is buying or which one suggests the name first, and then Marina will go after the player. I don't know. So if Tuchel is the one buying it, then Hakim it is. But if it is the sporting director or our board is the one making the purchase or buying or suggesting the player, I will say, why don't we just go with a cheaper version? Because that position, I still think Haaland should always be our priority. Whether Haaland is 150, I don't want to turn the conversation to Haaland for sure, but whether Haaland is 170, 150, or 200 million, I just don't want to talk about Hakimi or any leak of money. I just want everything to be focused on Haaland at this point and just go for a cheaper version when it comes to the right wing back or whatever Tuchel decide to do. I'm not sure, but that will be my approach at this point. Anyways, I just want Chelsea to announce the signing of Haaland. That's all I'm looking for at this point. So we can move on with all the other positions where we want to step up the level of right wing back or left wing back, or just, that will be my opinion on the subject. Yeah.
Hey, so what I wanted to add here is I agree with Boogeyman and Max, right? So basically, what I would add is so the way Tuchel plays, he has kind of affinity towards versatility, because he is known to change systems historically, right? And I believe that he's going to play different systems this particular season, right? So one of the reasons that he's probably going for Hakimi, and I'm assuming that it's Tuchel's choice, is because of the fact that I think Reece James is probably going to help there because of his versatility again. Now, Reece James, as we saw that towards the end of the season, he played right centre back. And then he also moved into central midfield in one of the games. If you remember, he literally controlled midfield for one of the games. And I actually see that happening. If, say, Billy Gilmore go loan, I can see Reece James playing in midfield as a backup. And that's where probably Tuchel sees that, okay, Hakimi is a much better attacking right wing back who can defend as well as compared to Hudson-Odoi. So in case we have to overpay for Hakimi, it'll probably mean that the versatility of the team will be helpful, and that's where we need not even sign on the central midfielder. Who knows? That's the way I see it. And as Boogeyman said, definitely the priority is going to be the striker, but Hakimi, in Europe, if you ask me, who's the best attacking, wing back, with counter-attacking ability, right? Hakimi is right up there, and his age as well. So I think Tuchel sees that, and obviously his main system is a 3-4-3 or a 3-5-2. So for that, I think Hakimi is probably one of the best. And he sees that, okay, we have Azpilicueta who can probably play right wing back at times. He can play right centre back. We have Reece James who can play both the positions as well as central midfield. Why don't we pay a little bit extra there and get the best out there, because we should go for the best. I don't agree in getting a second choice right wing back, because I don't think that's a real need. In worst case, say we don't get Hakimi, I would still be happy with Reece James and Azpilicueta there, plus Hudson-Odoi staying. That's a caveat, because I personally liked Hudson-Odoi in that position, although he himself didn't like playing that position. That's what I see.
Would it be fair to say that the right wing back position is not a problematic position for us as of yet, but could be one in a season or two down the line? Would that be a fair statement?
For sure, yes, because I think Azpilicueta is the person, right, who's the person. He played right wing back in a couple of matches, but again, that's not his forte. He can do a job maybe against Real Madrid or Man City, for instance, but definitely not against the mid-table teams and so on and so forth. And considering his age, I don't think he's a choice at all after 2 years, right? And Reece James, again, he's not an attacking wing back. So here, the assumption is that Tuchel is going to stay for a year and a half or 2 years, that is extended for. And considering that, I don't see Reece James being that position in the long run, the way Tuchel plays.
I agree there with what RC is saying. So we struggled this season against the low blocks. And why? Because we don't have a wing back who can take on a player one-on-one, get to the byline and create those chances. If you saw today, I'm not sure if you guys watched the Germany game, Germany-France, and Germany employed two wing-backs, and Kimmich isn't a wing-back, and he wasn't really getting beyond his defenders, and it was made quite easy for the French to defend, because he had him on one side and he had Goossens on the other side. And when you're playing a three at the back system, you need your wing backs to be your creative force, and they didn't get any creativity from that side. What RCBN was saying, which is correct, against the sides who come at you, Aspis is ideal for that, because he can defend and we can hit them on the break or whatever. But where we have to force the play a bit more against these low blocks, then Aspie, even Reece James, he doesn't really take on his man. He's got a great cross, but he doesn't really take on his man, commit defenders. So that's why I think we've been linked also with Adama Traore as well at Wolves, because he's someone who's similar, who can run at defenders and force them into mistakes, open up spaces for all the other players to exploit as well.
Yeah, and I mean,
good point.
It's really the creative aspect of it. I think the wing backs that we have, when it comes to defending part of it, we're doing okay. I mean, Reece James, Chilwell, Azpilicueta. I think moving forward, Achraf Hakimi will definitely add a lot more because of his crossing, his finishing. I mean, the guy can score.
Double digits. He's got double digits this year, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Goals and
assists. And I think with the acquisition of Erling Haaland, those two could definitely add a lot together. And I think that's the thinking behind it. It's not that we are doing badly with the wing backs. I think it's going to do better. It's more of where I think we're going.
We haven't scored goals, have we?
No, we haven't.
Score more goals, and those two can definitely get us more goals.
Yeah, I think you're very right, Baggy. It's not that we're doing badly in the right wing back, but we want to do better. And not only do better by adding creativity through that position, but strength in depth. Strength in depth is going to be key for us next season because of the sheer volume of games. And as we buy players, we can't lose sight of that. We can't look at a position as a singular. Oh, this player plays here, so we don't need anybody of that quality. Yes, we do, especially if they're flexible. And this, I think, is a lot of the thinking behind the Achraf Hakimi pursuit. And, people are worried about the cost. Remember, we're selling players. We're already going to get 25k, or is it 28 million for what's that?
Kaya
Tomori. Conor Gallagher is going to go for about 20 million. Tammy is probably going to go. We're going to get some loose change for Giroud.
Ross Barkley as well.
Giroud for about 5.
So
Costa for about 10.
Danny Drinkwater.
Exactly.
We'll have to pay them to take him.
We'll pay people to take him.
Yeah, we'll be paying 5 million.
We'll be paying for them to take it.
Give them to Dortmund.
But I think there will be some revenue from sales alone. There should be close to maybe 80 million or so in sales alone, and we do have the cash to expend on players, and then there's the prize money. So there is a concern. I mean, these people turn around and say Chelsea are very cash rich. They know what they're talking about. Not to mention now, because we're European champions and we have such an exciting squad, our project is appealing. We're Chelsea fans. We live with our club every day. So we don't see it like others see us from outside. We are a very appealing club right now. Very.
Great point you make about the squad rotation as well, because again, going back to the France match, if you've seen N'Golo Kante, the reason why he's so fresh and ready, because he was overplayed a lot under Sarri and to Lampard to some extent, and that's why he kept getting those injuries. So what Tuchel has done, remember he didn't play for the first few games. He had the Kovačić, Jorginho. He waited for Kante to be fully fit, and he rested him in some games as well. So now you're back to seeing the best of N'Golo Kante. The wing-back role is a very demanding role, up and down, up and down, up and down the flanks. That's why the two Liverpool guys this season had a bit of a burnout. With that, if we can get quality in those positions and rotate wisely, then you're going to get not only them for a season or two, you're going to over 3 or 4 seasons, you're going to have quality wing-backs in your side.
Absolutely.
Where's Baggy?
I think he's.
I'm here. All right, lads. We're gonna go to the third story, and that is regarding Ruben Loftus-Cheek. This is the tweet. Lazio are working hard to try to sign Chelsea midfielder Ruben Loftus-Cheek this summer. The Italian side plans plans is to offer a loan deal with the option to buy. A lot of work to be done for a deal to happen. Now, we talked about Ruben Loftus-Cheek briefly yesterday. I want to know what you guys think in respect to Ruben Loftus-Cheek. I mean, whether this is true, whether he's going, he's not going. We know Sarri liked him. We know Sarri liked the way he played. We know Ruben Loftus-Cheek will probably benefit from a loan deal to Lazio. He will probably benefit from the less physical aspect of the Serie A, and also the difference of pace, the reduction of pace in the Serie A. So he will probably have an easier time to get back to his proper level. But my question is, should Chelsea look to loan him, or should Chelsea look to keep him for next season? If Chelsea do look to loan him, should they learn from the mistake of Fikayo Tomori and not put a low price on this guy, because this guy does have potential to be one of the best midfielders around. So what would be a good buy option? What kind of figure should we be putting onto that contract? So I want to know your thoughts on this particular scenario.
He needs a season. No, it's pretty. We should assess him over the pre-season. I'll bring him back, see what Tuchel can do with him, whether Tuchel likes him, whether he's going to be fitting into his plans. If Tuchel feels that he needs another loan, then go. But this guy is 25 years old. How long can we keep loaning out this player? He's going to be getting onto the Lucas Piazon stage at the moment with loans. It's unfortunate with him, because I do feel for the boy, because he's one of the most talented midfielders in English football, but his career has been blighted with injuries. When he first came, he had a back problem, so he always had issues with the back, so he couldn't really give it all. When he came back, he had his best season under Sarri, where him and Hazard, I put it this way, the highest praise I can give him is he was kind of up there with Hazard that season. He was one of our go-to guys that season, and we all know about that ill-fated trip to the United States, which ruined him, and that's a bad injury to come back from, the Achilles heel. That's a really bad, and his one was worse than the one that Tammy Abraham suffered. So that's put him back a bit further. At Fulham, he wasn't really getting the games at Fulham. I don't know why. I'm not sure whether he's fully fit or he's not confident after that. So maybe another loan move, because Sarri knows him well. Sarri trusts him, and as you said, Baggy, he's probably playing in a less physical league, and then he could probably get back to the way he was before. Probably wouldn't put in an option to buy. I'll make it a loan for just assess him over the season and see how he's getting on before we put in this option, because he may go there and get back to the Ruben Loftus-Cheek that we know and love, and then he could be off use for us the season after. So, but yeah, we'll just see how it goes, But I'll prefer to just have him an outright loan without a loan with an option.
Okay.
Just go there. So what I wanted to say is, like, with Ruben Loftus-Cheek, right? So I remember the days when I used to brag with my friends saying that this guy is going to become better than Pogba. I think a lot of us have told that, right? Like, as much as I love him and he did fantastically well against with Sarri, the fact is, like, the way Chelsea play, where we are in Europe, I don't see Ruben Loftus-Cheek being a starting 11 player anytime soon. And when I say anytime soon, I mean next couple of years even. With the squad we have, with the young players we have, one of the main reasons I would point out here is Mason Mount, because Mason Mount, the way he has really come up the ranks and been so good, like, we can only possibly afford one more attacking midfielder. If Ruben Loftus-Cheek could have played as a number 6, then definitely it was a different thing. Like, maybe even like how Pogba kind of floats in between the number 6 and number 8. But Ruben Loftus-Cheek, having seen him in the recent year and a half, I know he's not played much consistently, but I don't see that in him. And at the other side, he doesn't score enough goals. I think Max mentioned, like, with Fulham, he didn't play. Yes, he didn't play consistently, but there was a period of dozen games in between where Scott Parker literally played him every minute. Now, the reason why he was taken off from that is because of the fact that he wasn't scoring goals, and that's what, at the end of the day, got Fulham the relegation. Like, they had to score more goals. He was missing chances. I actually watched each minute of Fulham because of Ruud Loftus-Cheek. That's how I love him, right? But the fact is, he's not going to start in the 11 anytime soon. So, if in case Chelsea are getting like a crazy offer, like, I know it's probably not going to happen, but if we are getting, like, when I say crazy, something around closer to 40 million, I think that's something that we should definitely go, and it's good for the guy. Like, I am concerned about Ruud Loftus-Cheek here, because for him, the best is for him to be a permanent member of a side. Maybe he wasn't played so consistently in Palace as well as in Fulham because of the fact that he wasn't their player. So he needs that. That is not going to happen in Chelsea. Yes, given a choice, if we don't get that kind of offer, I would go for the loan option, and I would not put in the buy option, because, like you said, like, I don't want to regret like Tomori, and that's what I would go with.
I think Ruben Loftus-Cheek issue is an issue of fitness. And like Max, I think it's important to observe him over the pre-season. He didn't really have a pre-season last summer. He was barely back from injury, and the pre-season was more like a rehabilitation time for him to even get on the pitch at all. In fact, I don't think he had a pre-season game because of his
We've lost Bobby. Boogeyman, do you want to add anything? DJ Sav? While we're waiting for Bobby.
Yeah, when it comes to Ruben Loftus-Cheek, I would say I'd like him to stay next season. That would be my option. I don't want him to go on loan. I just want him to actually take his chance and try to fight for a position. Because, like, at the beginning, we all say we need our squad. We need depth in our squad. We need players all over the position. So if Loftus, sometimes we need to give Mount some break. Also, last season, a few times we pull Mount out of the starting lineup, and we panic a little. Who's going to play Mount position? Maybe if Loftus was sitting, just training, he may be used that time. So I'd rather have him play a full season under Tuchel and whether as a sub, and take all his chance, because he's only 25, like we know. Then I think he still have time to come back, and with a proper coach and proper fitness coach, and he should be able to come back. He has the talent. It's just a matter of Tuchel giving him all the chance, and he should be able to handle this season. I would like to have Robin next season completely at Chelsea, not on loan or anything.
Yeah, I think Tuchel also wants to see him in pre-season. I think he has seen him play in the past and does want to give him a chance. Bobby, you were disconnected there, mate. We'll switch back to you, mate.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. That's very unlike my system to just throw me out like that. I apologize. But
yeah, it's the DJ Sav syndrome, man. It's a bit catching.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I sort of caught the tail end of what Boogeyman was saying, and I think I was working up to that it's probably the way forward from how I've heard Tuchel talk of Ruben. I think he wants to see him for himself, and it's quite possible that Ruben will be someone that will come off the bench. And if his fitness, gets back up to speed, you'll be surprised what he'll do. He'll be able to, as Boogeyman said, be able to give Mason Mount a rest a little bit. Because towards the tail end of the season, if you notice, Tuchel started resting Mason a little bit, and none more apparent than in the Champions League final when he took him off for Kovačić. I know it was tactical, but anything could have happened. They could have equalized. We could have had to go into extra time, and he clearly felt that that Mount didn't have enough gas in the tank to go that far. So having someone to be able to rotate with and someone as effective as Ruben is in his peak in midfield would be great. The sad thing about Ruben is that although the English game is physical, and if you're big, it's an advantage, but if you get a big injury like that, if you're big, it's a long way back. And I think that's what he's suffering from. His size, he's carrying a lot of size about, and, getting back to what he was before that injury is a long way. I hope he does.
Yeah. No. He has a lot of heart. He has a lot of determination, and I think he just needs a bit of time. I think we will see him turn the corner and and get back to his previous self. This comment here from Daniel Hakim regarding Charlie Musonda. Charlie Musonda apparently has gotten back to shape, gotten back to fitness, but I don't think he is quite ready to jump into the Chelsea team yet. I agree with Stork's comment that he will probably be going out alone next season. I think he's on the mend. So hopefully we'll see something positive from him.
I've been impressed with him because I've followed his story on Twitter and Instagram. This guy is putting in the work. He really wants to make it now, and he's shown a lot of determination. He's a very talented guy, actually. When we brought him in, he was sought after by the likes of Real Madrid, Barcelona, and everything. He's somebody. If he can get back to full fitness, he'll be a very good addition to our side. But like you, as I said, we need to give him a loan deal just to see how he gets back from this injury, because he's been out for nearly a year or so. More than a year. So he's been a bad injury. So we'll need to assess him again just to see if he can come back anywhere near that level, then he'll be a good addition to our squad.
Yeah.
And by the other one as well. He's the one who's been putting in the hard shift as well. So I do like the attitude of these younger players.
Yeah, again, I echo the same thoughts Max has just said about Charlie Musonda. I mean, I've watched this guy's story as well on Instagram and on Twitter, and what he's been doing, how he's got himself to where he wants to get himself again. For me, look, this is another pre-season situation, isn't it? I think it's going to be seeing what he can do in pre-season. I think Tuchel will have a look at him, and I think if he can get something out of him, he possibly could be one of those that may stay even next season. Going back to the Ruben Loftus-Cheek thing, again, I agree with everything Bobby has said. Everyone's saying, I would love Ruben to stay. I think he needs to get given that pre-season. I think he'll come good again. I know he's had those bad injuries, but I think he can come good. I have seen signs. I know RCBN has said he's seen him in Fulham matches. I've seen him in some Fulham matches as well, and I think he's actually had some good games. He's had some very good games. We're kind of like seeing a bit of him, what he was before he got that injury, coming back slowly. And I think if he gets a pre-season next season, I think he can actually show that. And if we can keep him around the squad, bear in mind, guys, we've got 6 competitions to play in next season. We're going to need these players. Even Conor Gallagher's another one I'll probably throw in the mix as well. We're going to need these players next season. So, yeah, I mean, for me, if we can keep all 3 of them, that would be great for me.
Yeah, no, I mean, we are going to have a big squad next season. I mean, it's going to be a lot more jam-packed than it was this season, and I think the onus on us is to continue performing. We can't afford to slip up. There's going to be a lot of pressure on us. I think Tuchel may need to have two teams that have been rotated with, rather than just having a few players that he swaps around. I think Tuchel is going to have a lot on his plate next season with all the fixtures. I want to talk about.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, go on, Bobby.
Can I say something about Ruben? Maybe it may be a little controversial, but I just don't think we should judge Ruben based on games that he played at Fulham. The only thing that I took out of this season, he managed to stay injury-free. Also, because I feel like he's playing during the Fulham game. I watched most of them. He always trying to preserve himself just for Chelsea. That's how I feel, because he doesn't go into those 50-50 stuff that I think he will probably do for Chelsea. When like the heart is in it, because that's Chelsea. He breathed Chelsea. He has lived Chelsea. So I think he's kind of just used this loan to spend a full season injury-free. Now, Ruben, that will probably see next season, will try to chase for a position. That would be a different animal. That's my view. And I think Fulham fan might not like it, but that's what I think. When it comes to Musonda, Musanda's case is a little different because he just come out of an injury, right? And he hasn't really had a lot of playing time, like real game time, 90 minutes or whatever. So I think he should go on loan. He should not stay with the team next season. He has to go on loan, but I would love him to go to either second division, like the championship, or another EPL team. Not going to Holland or anything. Just stay around and taste the league, and that's all I would like to suggest when it comes to Charlie Musonda.
Yeah. Does anybody else want to add anything in regards to Charlie Musonda or Loftus-Cheek? Because I'll be changing subjects in a second. We have a new person, ARN. ARN, welcome. No, he's gone. He's gone. I think he just wanted to see if he can get on. Listen, lads, we are going to be talking about our last topic, which is Hakim Ziyech. But also, I want you guys in the comments to hit me up with any questions you have, because we will address those questions after the Hakim Ziyech topic. I just seen Steve Chelsea. Steve Chelsea, how are you? Haven't seen you in the chat for some time, so good to see you back here, back on Maggie TV. Welcome back, mate. Lads, regarding Hakim Ziyech, okay, now, over the past few weeks, there's been rumors talking about him going to AC Milan, going to XYZ club. He's not happy. He is demoralized. He doesn't think that he's been utilized enough. You know, journalists being journalists, they will twist the story, in many different ways. Today, apparently, there's some more talk about this. Absolute Chelsea apparently have tweeted something recently. DJ Saab just told me that there's more talk about him leaving the club. Now, Hakim Ziyech, we've talked about his situation. We've talked about the troubles that he's had this season. Along with Havertz, along with Werner, along with a whole bunch of guys who moved over from one league to the other over this COVID pandemic season. So it's not been easy, but is this really an excuse to push him out? Are these journalists trying to push him out? Is he actually unhappy? Does he actually want to leave? Should Chelsea allow him to leave? Should Chelsea keep him? Try to convince him to stay if he does want to leave? What do you guys approach the story from all these angles? And let me know what you think in regards to the Hakim Ziyech situation. And it's open to the whole panel.
Yeah, my take on it. He was bought by Frank Lampard, wasn't he, to play a specific system. That's when we were going for the either 4-2-3-1 or 4-3-3. Since Tuchel's come in, he hasn't really. He's fine for one of those sort of inverted number 10 roles, which he can play, but he hasn't really had the minutes, say, like Werner has and Mason Mount, because and Pulisic. So he's I'm not sure how many games he's played on the Tuchel, but I think out of the front, take away Hudson-Odoi, then he's probably had the less minutes out of all the other guys, and I think that's where the frustration is for him. It depends. If he wants to, if he feels he's not going to get enough minutes next season and he's not happy, then he'll probably have to move on. If he wants to stay and fight for his place, he feels he can get into the side. Yeah, it's down to him at the end of the day. I personally wouldn't mind seeing how he gets on in the second season, because I still think he's got a lot to offer for us. He gives us something different from the other wingers as well. He's got a great delivery from the right, with his left foot, and I still think that he's one. He didn't do that often this season, but with a bit more confidence, he's another guy who can shoot from range, and his passing range as well is quite good. So with me, I just feel hopefully that he would want to stay and fight for his place at Chelsea, especially if his countryman Hakimi is coming in. He'll be a good person to have here as well to help him settle in. So that's another plus for keeping him for me.
Yeah, so I agree with Max there, right? So I was also reading the comments, right? So I see a lot of reasons being given that why he would move, right? So I agree, like, for example, I think Steve Chelsea mentioned about it depends on the system. So one of the, probably the only reason that he'll probably want to leave, apart from the minutes, of course, is the fact that, Tuchel is not going to change the system, which I don't see that happening, but that can be the reason only. And the other thing can be like the Grealish rumors, right? So yes, if in case we are signing, which again I don't believe in personally, but if that is true, then I think one of Pulisic and Ziyech have to go. There's no two ways about it. We cannot, that's luxury 2/4. So I don't think we can afford that, and that is the only reason I see him kind of wanting to move, because already he's not getting minutes. So where will he get minutes otherwise, right? When it comes to Chelsea and Tuchel, I don't see why Ziyech will not be an asset, because he is. I'll come back to my favorite point about the left-footed thing, right? So like Max said as well, he brings really different things that others don't bring to the table. The long ball, the passes that he has, he just pings the ball on the other corner. I don't think anyone kind of brings that in the Chelsea squad whatsoever. Even imagine if Grealish comes, I don't see even him doing that what Ziyech does. So him not getting a chance for the second season, I don't see that happening. I think Tuchel is going to utilize him, and it depends on the system that they're going to practice in, during preseason. And when it comes to Ziyech, I don't see any personal issues in terms of Tuchel or Chelsea for that matter, because he's been happy. Otherwise, yes, he's been frustrated when he's taken off early, but that is what I would love to see a Chelsea player do, rather than just be happy to go. I would rather want them to fight. And that is something that Ziyech has as well. So if he has a fight, he has something different that he brings. He's a left-footed player who can have the long shots as well as long passes. There are no two ways about it. And Tuchel is going to change systems, in my opinion. He is to stay, and there's no reason why he should be unhappy about, in a 60-game season, he'll definitely get chances next season.
If I'll be slightly controversial to RCBN. People talk of systems with Tuchel, because he tends to start with the five at the back. But Tuchel doesn't have a system. His systems are applied in-game, and he swaps and changes depending on whether he's been offensive, whether he needs to break down a low block, or whether he's chasing a game. Now, Hakim Ziyech definitely has a place in the Chelsea squad next season. I feel there are two reasons he hasn't had as much game time as people would like him to have. One is a very obvious reason of the injuries he had earlier on in the season, which sort of disrupted his rhythm. And the second one is that Tuchel plays a very high energy, fast tempo, up and down game in which defensive duties are even part of the offensive player's duty on the field. Now, the one weakness, because I've watched Ziyech a lot in all his different positions, and I particularly took keen interest when Tuchel would remove Mason Mount and play Ziyech in his place. And there was even a time Tuchel did not even have his double pivots. None of them. There was no Kante, there was no Jorginho, and no Kovačić. And Ziyech was played deep in midfield alongside, I've forgotten who he was with. It wasn't even Mount. Who was he with? I can't remember now. Or was it Mount? Or was it even...
It was Mount. It was two number 8.
Mount. Yeah, he played deep with Mount in midfield. Now, the one weakness I saw with Ziyech was in his work rate and endeavour going backwards. It's not his game, and he will need to learn that adaptability over a good pre-season. He did well in that position, but he was often left wanting, and having Mount or one of the centre backs of the back three step forward and try and cover for him. So that's the only reason I felt often Tuchel wouldn't play him, because he needs to have more industry. He's more of your regular winger who's up there, takes the ball, does his bit up front, and, you know, for want of a better word, lazily jogs back again when the team is being under attack. You can't do that in modern football. And that's all he has to learn. So whether he feels happy or unhappy, if he wants to keep playing top flight football with the way the tactics are swapping and changing, he's got to adapt. It's as simple as that. And I think he will.
I agree there. Yeah, some of it was, as you said, laziness, and some of it, I think he thought some games were a bit beneath him. So I think it was the Brighton game where he just wasn't. He was just walking back rather than putting in the shift. And part of it, I think, also is maybe because obviously he played in the Dutch league. In the Dutch league, you have 5 or 6 proper games in that league, and some of the other games you can afford to coast and still get the victory, because obviously he's playing for the best team in Holland. So in England, he's got to learn that you can't coast. You know, even if you're playing the Burnleys or the Crystal Palaces or whoever, you need to put in a shift, because if you're not given that 100%, then you're gonna get found out in this league.
All right. I want to address some of these comments we have in the stream. Before I do, though, I want to say big up to Julius. How you doing, mate? Julius, how are you?
I'm good, thanks. Good to see Max and Bobby and DJ back.
Hey Julius, how you doing, bro? You all right?
Yeah.
What about Boogeyman at RCBN? Do you like to see them as well?
They're always
Hey, Julius, we're always on the same streams, Julius. He was with me on that stream that Miz did over the weekend. You were there, weren't you?
I wasn't actually with you yesterday. I was with Boogeyman and RC. Big up.
I wasn't anywhere yesterday, unfortunately. I had to work, but
yeah.
Anyway, sorry, I don't want to detract.
Yeah, no worries. I have a comment here from Hamoudi Ahmed, and he's asking if I could do a stream in Arabic on Haaland. So I'm gonna address this comment in Arabic. إن شاء الله أسوي ستريم بالعربي، بس خلي قناتي شوية تكبر وصير بخدمتكم، وهسوي لكم فيديو قريبا إن شاء الله باللغة العربية. Guys, in regards to the Hakim Ziyech situation, I want to address it from a slightly different angle. And this is something that me and DJ Saf kind of alluded to earlier in the stream. If Hakim Ziyech, and this is an if, because I don't really see it to be a fact, but it might be. If Hakim Ziyech is unhappy at Chelsea, could he indirectly affect the situation in regards to Achraf Hakimi coming to Chelsea, with them being close, with them, with Achraf Hakimi not playing in the UK, not playing in England before, and him coming to this league, maybe Hakim Ziyech, if he has been unhappy, if he has been uncomfortable in the Premier League, could he affect that? And I'll start with Julius in respect to this situation. Could this be a situation, Julius?
Yeah, I think obviously it's gonna have an effect because they're both playing. I think they're both from the same country, right? And potentially they're gonna be playing in the same side as well. So there's gonna be a good connection. I think actually it could be even better than Reece James and Ziyech there. So But until now, I said before, if this is a Tuchel signing, I'm with it, and it's a good signing. If you ask my personal opinion regarding Hakimi, I don't know why we're spending 60-something million pounds on him when we have Reece James and Aspi rotating. But I'm not against it, but I'm just trying to understand personally why is Chelsea so eager to go for him. There is something about him maybe we don't know. Maybe Tuchel has plans for him, something that he's looking to utilize next season. I'm not sure. But it is intriguing, to be honest with you, the way we're pushing for Hakimi. And I wonder what the boys have to say about that.
For me, no, I like it, but I agree with what Boogeyman said a bit earlier. Actually, I'll prefer to get someone like a Haaland in. If getting Hakimi means that we can't afford somebody like Haaland, then for me, because we've already got players in that position who can do a decent job, and not forgetting we've got Livramento as well, who's a young guy who is up and coming. And he's somebody who's highly thought of by the club. Then yeah, but if we can afford both, then I'll happily take both. But not as I said, not at the expense of getting our stellar striker. I wouldn't sacrifice someone like a Haaland or Lukaku or somebody like that. If Hakimi is coming.
Yeah, can I add something to that?
Oh,
Boogeyman then DJ.
Okay, they're both from Morocco or Egypt. Morocco, right?
Morocco, yeah.
Okay, if they're both from Morocco, they probably talk to each other really, and it depends on how Chelsea is viewed in Morocco. If a Moroccan, like the entire population,
just to add, Boogeyman, right now they're both training together with the national team. So yeah. Hakimi right now is with Hakim Ziyech right now.
Okay, so the reason why I'm saying that is because I'm from Canada. So in Canada, for example, when we look at European football, we think like, okay, if someone is playing for Chelsea, we tend to respect a Canadian playing for Chelsea. But then even if two Canadians are talking and they're like, okay, I'm playing for Chelsea, I have 2 bad games, then they put me on the bench, I don't like it. If I'm the other Canadian, Chelsea contact me to sign me, I'll go because I don't really care about what he's thinking. I'm just caring about what people in Canada think about Chelsea. Playing for Chelsea, you are in the high ranking yet. So that's what I'm more focused on. What exactly is Chelsea's status in Morocco? If Chelsea is one of the biggest clubs in Morocco compared to PSG, for example, I think Hakimi has 2 choices, right? Chelsea or PSG, right? If PSG is higher ranked than Chelsea in Morocco, then Hakimi will go to PSG because Ziyech say, at Chelsea, you just have to have 2 bad games and you don't play anymore. But if people from Morocco all highly rate Chelsea more than PSG, no chance that Ziyech will be able to convince Hakimi not to sign for Chelsea. There's no chance. That's all like that.
If Hakimi is worried about being benched at Chelsea, then what does he think is going to happen at PSG?
That's so true. So true.
You know, I this idea of Hakim Ziyech's mood affecting Hakimi, I don't really go with it. I mean, yeah, they might know each other, but I think, they're very young. I mean, certainly Hakimi is a very young man. And, maybe he might have a weak mind and might be influenced by the older young man's attitudes. I don't know. I would suspect that Moroccans are more affiliated with Spanish football than English football, being closer to Spain geographically and probably having more of Spanish TV than English TV. I'm just guessing. I've never been to Morocco. I don't know anything about Moroccans, but
you have a point there. There's a lot of cultural connections as well between Morocco and Spain. So you are accurate there. You are accurate there. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I would guess so. So, I'm thinking that the Ziyech playing for Chelsea, especially as we've won the Champions League, has sort of helped put Chelsea more on the map in Morocco. And certainly if Hakimi joins as well, a lot of people will start looking this way than the Spanish clubs. But I don't know. I don't know if it's enough that Ziyech is not getting enough game time that would put off Hakimi. And the flip side of that is that, these are competitive individuals. That might even spur him on. He might be challenged by that and think, oh, okay, let me go there and be the one to be playing regularly. I don't know. It's a strange one, but it'll be a shame if they influenced each other.
I want to this way as well.
Max. Bobby cut in front of DJ, so I want to go back to DJ. Then I'll go back to you. Go on, DJ.
That's all right, guys. That's all right. No, it's just what Max said, and then what Bobby's just followed up by saying. Look, I look at the situation as two ways. Yeah, I would love Hakimi to come to Chelsea. Of course, I would do. I don't think influenced by if he's getting some kind of influence from Hakim Ziyech, that shouldn't really play a part in it. For me personally, we've won the Champions League. He should look at our culture of the club, look where we are as a football club, and look at that. Look at the competition. Because let's be honest, next season the position he's going to play is going to be with Reece James and Azpilicueta. Yeah, we know Azpi's probably stick around for one more year at the football club. He's probably going to need to jump in and out of games as well. We've got 6 competitions to play. I don't see why that should affect the deal. However, the only downside to it all, as I'll say, is like we said, Haaland. If this deal can affect the Haaland deal, and I want Haaland more at the football club more than anything else, then I'd say then let's rather go for Haaland and maybe get Hakimi maybe in January or something like that. But for me personally, I don't think this whole thing with Ziyech should really play a part. I mean, if he should just come. He'll get game time. He knows Tuchel likes him as well as a player, and Tuchel's going to play him. It's as simple as that. Tuchel will play him, and he'll play him in the positions that he wants to be played in, and he's versatile as well. So not only would he could play in those 2 positions, he could play other positions on the pitch as well. So for me, he shouldn't play a part in it. I know what Absolute Chelsea said that they're looking to possibly sell off Ziyech. But I personally can't see that happening either. I think he needs at least another season as well.
Yeah, I actually think we may be reading too much into this because he's a fellow countryman or whatever. If you look at what's happening at Dortmund, Jude Bellingham went there, and obviously you had Jadon Sancho there as well. Jadon Sancho was looking for a move out of Dortmund last season, but did that put Jude Bellingham off on going there? No, because he was thinking about his career path. He wasn't thinking, another English person wants a way out, so it's going to put me off on going there. So, and also, if you look at it, last season, Hakimi was at Dortmund. And who else was at Dortmund? Erling Haaland. So if Erling Haaland, and they had a very good understanding as well over there. And if Erling Haaland comes, it may strengthen because they have a good friendship as well, apparently. So he'll already have someone in the club who he knows, and that he can help him to settle down as well. So we've got to look at it from that side of things as well.
Yep. I want to say big up to CFC Gem in the chat. Thanks for coming in. I saw you in the chat yesterday as well. So big up to you and to your crew, your channel. Blue Ice, welcome to the stream. How are you?
I'm good, man. How are you?
I'm good. Blue Ice, we've been talking about a whole bunch of topics. You've come on the back end of the stream.
I'm sorry I'm late.
Nah, it's all good, mate. It's all good. It's good for you to. It's good for us to have you here with us. So, what's your thoughts on the Hakim Ziyech, Achraf Hakimi, links? Achraf Hakimi apparently coming in. Hakim Ziyech, there's talks that he might be going out. None of these have been confirmed. I want to know your opinion on this, mate.
Sure. For Hakimi, I'm actually excited. I follow him based on African football. So whenever there's the African internationals, when a lot of the African internationals come back to play, that's when I actually get to get a good look at Hakimi. So yes, I'm pumped up. He's ambidextrous, for lack of a better way to put it. He can play with both feet. He can play with both angles. He's got height. He's got size. And he's going to come in to bring in competition for Reece James and whoever it is, and Aspi. So everyone else has got to be on their game to get that spot. So yes, for Ziyech, I'm not sure, man. Baggy, you know where I stand with Ziyech. The question I have with Ziyech is Ziyech comfortable with being an off-the-bench player in a club like Chelsea? If yes, then I think he's going to stay. But the question is, Ziyech, with that price tag on his head, and the kind of player he is, we all know he's one of the most talented players we have on the squad. I think he's a starter. And right now, I don't think there's any room unless he can bust through the gates this new season after preseason and take that shirt. But if Ziyech is comfortable enough with a bench role and then work his way up from there, hey. But if he's not, because when I look at Ziyech, correct me if I'm wrong, I see a guy with a lot of, I think not ego, but very, very confident guy. And I bet you when he was coming to Cobham, he was probably under the impression that he would be the guy. Again, I'm wrong. This is just me looking at it as a fan. So for me, with Ziyech, if he's comfortable with an impact role coming off the bench and then work his way up through the ranks to become a regular, then fine. But I don't think he's going to be comfortable 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 games. He's not starting. I don't know if he can take that. Baggy, maybe you've been following him on the Moroccan side. Do you think he will be comfortable with that?
No. Hakim Ziyech wants to. No, he won't be comfortable with that. Hakim Ziyech wants to start more games. Wants to be involved a lot more. The thing is with Hakim Ziyech. Hakim Ziyech came from a team where he was, I'm not going to say the center of attention, but he was one of the biggest names in that team. Now he's playing for Chelsea, one of the biggest teams in the UK, one of the biggest teams in Europe, the champions of Europe.
In world football.
I just want to say this again. Chelsea are the champions of Europe. In case you guys don't know, we are the champions of Europe. So
say that again, bro.
Playing for the champions of Europe. There's a lot of competition.
That sounded good, bro.
We have a lot of players. We have a lot of players. So there is going to be a lot of competition for places. And listen, guys, listen to me. Listen to me. On one, we all say together. 3, 2, 1. Champions of Europe. We know what we are. Champions of Europe.
Big up Jim in the comments, by the way.
Did you guys see Jem? He's in the chat. Jem is the guy who went to Arsenal and took the piss of Arsenal.
Yeah, I saw that.
I know. I saw that.
Big up Jem.
Hey, Jem. I know. Yeah, Jem. What up, boy?
DC wasn't too happy about that, mate. DC wasn't too happy.
Yeah, something, Jem.
Yeah, big up. Hey, Jem.
What's up, Jem?
The link.
Next time you go, Jem, take some blue paint. Take some blue paint and start painting their walls.
You should jump on.
And you know what? He rattled Mr. DT. He was so.
He did. Yeah, I saw that. I saw that. Big up. Listen, Jem. Big up, Jem. On the link. Click on the link and jump in, man. Jump in.
So just to answer your question,
we have 10 minutes.
Can I just give you some news, Baggy?
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Do you know ex-West Ham employee? He's the one who broke the news about Mendy coming to Chelsea, and he's confirming the story that Ian McGarry told. It says thought that terms with the player, which is Erling Haaland, are all but provisionally agreed. The complication will come over the fee, sell-on fees, and other percentages. So if he's saying it as well, then I think there are definitely legs to it now. If you're gonna, he's another quite reliable source. This guy.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, it is actually amazing. Like it's so good to be part of this team. Like Chelsea, we just want that striker, and we feel like they're working for it. It's really, really like breathtaking, and also like soul lifting. I feel like I'm in the right place, like supporting Chelsea. Man. It's amazing.
Yeah, but the question I have, guys, when was the last time we actually had a cold-blooded striker? When was the last season we had?
Diego Costa.
Thank you. That's true.
That's why I got a problem with
talking about strikers, did you see that Moreta miss yesterday?
Three of them, man.
Goodness. Which one?
I thought, especially that one-on-one where he put it wide, and then Alan Shearer says, "I can't believe he missed that." And I'm thinking, have you not watched Chelsea over the last few seasons, Alan?
What about Timo Werner's pass today? Did anyone see the pass to the throwing line? My goodness. Man.
Yeah.
Timo. Yeah. Timo, man.
Yeah, I saw that today.
Yeah. When it comes to Hakim Ziyech, I just want to add something. I'll say people should not be too much reading a Hakim Ziyech face. We're all different. Like, you might look at my face and think, this guy's not happy. Like, the guy said after winning the Champions League, that's the reason why I signed for Chelsea. So that's the only thing I care about. Like, we say, okay, what of this guy in Italy, Gattuso? You get Gattuso out, the coach has to run off because you don't want Gattuso to come close to you. He'll punch you. Like, so what my point is this. He's mad. I think it was the SCBN that said, I'm happy when we sub a player that is sub. It's not happy. Yeah, that's the one thing. I'm happy when he's not playing good a lot. He's not happy. But at the end of the day, he's happy to be at Chelsea. Chelsea just won the Champions League. That is the main reason why he said he signed for Chelsea. I want to win trophy.
Let me ask you a question, Boogie. Boogie, if you're not getting game time, for example, let's say you don't get enough game time, and then you win, and then all of a sudden you win a Champions League, and then the media comes to you with a microphone. Are you going to say, well, I didn't get enough games, but, I'm glad? Of course you're going to sound happy, right? You have to.
No, the reason why I'm saying this is this. Yeah. Let me just say something. Olivier Giroud. Would you say Olivier Giroud is happy to win the Champions League? Yeah, because he scored the goal against Atletico Madrid. Against Ziyech also. You remember when Tuchel scored the first lineup Tuchel put out to play in the Champions League? Tuchel said, I'm putting Ziyech on the line because he has experience playing at that level. So the point is, Ziyech cannot sit down today and say that he didn't participate in that Champions League win. He was part of it. He played game time. He is Chelsea team. Chelsea is not a joke. If you play 20 minutes in a game, you should be happy.
Even Kepa played this part as well.
I say Kepa play his part also. I don't understand anything. Anybody would sit down today and say that Kepa is not happy because he doesn't play, or Hakim is not happy because Hakim Ziyech is not going anywhere. He will stay at Chelsea until Chelsea want to get rid of him. It's clear as water for me.
How is that clear as water though? How? For
me, the guy just said at the end of the league, that's the reason why I signed for Chelsea. Next target, EPL. So what do you want me to say more than that? He just said.
I think it's important to remember that Hakim Ziyech signed for Chelsea Football Club, not Hakim Ziyech Football Club. There's a standard at Chelsea, and you've got to meet that standard if you want to play game in, game out. If you don't, you're on the bench. If you don't like it, well, there's the door. It's so just as simple as that.
That's it. If
we're not playing games here.
It's true, man.
We are the best.
I totally agree.
The best.
If he's got a strong character as well, the guy will stay. If his character,
that's why I was asking.
He has got a strong character.
Yeah. That's why I was asking in the beginning. If he's comfortable with playing that impact role from the bench, then he will stay at Chelsea for 5 years.
No, but he should be saying, "I want to be in the first team."
We don't even care.
It's up to him to fight
Chelsea
himself
wants to
back
be
into
comfortable with his performances. It's not about whether he's comfortable sitting on the bench. He needs to make Chelsea comfortable with his performances.
Players are different. I know. You're a fan. Of course, you're comfortable with his performances. So if he gives you one good performance out of 30, or one, I'm not saying that that's his record right now, but if he gives you, a few good performances because he plays seldomly, yes, we're going to be happy with the little performances that he's given us. But we don't know about this player. We don't know how it was pitched to him to come over to cover. We don't know.
Listen.
No.
That's not.
Lads, I've been listening to you. I want to jump in here.
Sure, please. Sure.
Yeah. In regards to Hakim Ziyech, and by the way, Steve, I'm going to address this comment in a minute. In regards to Hakim Ziyech and every player that has come to Chelsea this season, okay, I am not going to judge what we have seen this season. This season, we won the Champions League. This season, we have had success. This season, we have also had failures. When I say failures, I mean in regards to not reaching expectation in performances for certain players. We believe X and Y player can do a lot better. They haven't done a lot better. We believe they can do a lot better. That being said, we also know there has been circumstances that hasn't allowed these players to do a lot better. Next season, things are going to be different. I will be the first one to say Hakim Ziyech needs to leave the club if next season he is not performing. If Havertz is not performing, if Werner is not performing, if X, Y, and Z player are not performing, after they've been at the club for a couple of seasons, after they've had 2 years in the Premier League and they're still not performing, okay, I could be critical of them. I could say, maybe we should find an alternative to them. Now, sometimes it takes a player more than a couple of seasons, and we've seen it with Gundogan in Man City. He's had a couple of really bad seasons, performance-wise, but look at Gundogan now, one of the best players at Man City. So it's not necessarily the case that 2 seasons is enough to judge and to gauge a player, but we are a team that is looking for success. We are aspiring to have success. To have success, we can't afford to have 2 or 3 players underperforming. Therefore, it's a balancing act. Now, has Hakim Ziyech performed badly? No. Has he performed to the standard that we want him to perform to? Again, no. I will judge next season. And at the same time, I think a lot is being made in respect to his attitude. A lot has been made in respect to that. We saw the way he was reacting, the way he was playing when he was at Ajax. He still seemed to have the arrogance about him. You have to understand what the player is, his personality, his attitude, rather than what is being portrayed in the media. Culture clashes, the way you look, the way you behave, even hand gestures. I can do a hand gesture now that is rude to the Arabs that are watching this video, but to you guys, it'd be nothing. So there are different, there are differences in culture, there are differences in posture and body language. So we can't really just go by what the media is saying based on, maybe a conversation that he had that was taken out of context, etc., etc. I'm ranting a little bit, but I just wanted to put that out there. Guys, we have 5 more minutes. I'm gonna end the stream at 2 hours and 10 minutes. So discuss whatever you want to discuss for the next 5.5 minutes.
I want to discuss something.
Go ahead, mate.
I want to discuss something that is really annoying me about Arsenal.
Yeah? All right, let's do it. Go ahead.
About every time they want to bring and talk about that they are the historical club of London and they are the heritage of London. A club that has 100 years history with 1 Champions League final appearance. A club who claims to not have been relegated before, but they cheated their way and got voted in to stay in the Premier in the Football League at the time. Like, what history are they talking about? And when they won more than 50% of the trophies in the 1930s.
That was at the expense of Tottenham as well, wasn't it? That's why they hate each other.
Yeah,
I think. Yeah.
Exactly. And they won more than half of their trophies before the 1940s, 1930s, when Man United smashed us with the stay in division.
That's true,
You know.
Hey, Julius, Julius, out of education, what year was that? I'm actually being educated here. What year was that they cheated their way back into the EPL?
1918, 19 something, like 18, 14.
Yeah.
I'm gonna use that. I'm gonna use that line. I'm going to use that line for my
It
future
may have been the
debates.
Hill Woods back in the day. I'm sure the Hill
Oh,
Woods
yeah?
have had the
Okay.
club for years.
Oh, nice. I didn't know. Thanks for the
Or
education.
they
I didn't know.
bribed their way. They paid.
All right, update.
Yeah.
They didn't cheat.
They
didn't
bribed.
cheat.
Yeah,
They bribed.
Yeah, it was a bribe. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tomatoes.
There's something wrong with
They
the club.
they paid the Football
There's got to be
Association
something
at
wrong
the
with the
time.
club.
to-
There's got to be something wrong with a club that starts off in Woolwich, South London, and ends up in northeast London near Finsbury. What's up with that?
Oh man.
Oh, yeah.
Serious.
Oh, yeah. What does that mean? I don't know anything about that geography. Talk to me about that. What?
They were Woolwich Arsenal. That's where they started.
Yeah.
And then they moved up North London.
They wanna keep bragging about an era when they used to bring the fattest kid and put him as a goalkeeper. That's what you keep talking about.
Oh God.
Love it.
Oh man, seriously, this is awesome. Oh man.
I think they're living off the past because what else have they got to live off really? They haven't got a future to look forward to. So it's
Hey Julius, the only thing you just need to rely on
FC,
2 CLs, man. 2 CLs ain't easy, man. 2 CLs in 9 years. I'm telling you, that speaks volumes.
Nah,
That
mate.
speaks
They're
volumes.
But
Two
Blue
CL?
Eyes.
Wait. Blue Eyes.
Yeah.
Who won the Champions League? Who won the Champions League?
And on how many occasions?
Which one are you talking about? Are you talking about the latest Champions League winners of the world?
The latest one. Who was it?
Oh yeah, it was a small club called Chelsea FC. No. Hey, why are you trying to disrespect UEFA like this? Excuse me? Come on, man.
Can I tell you something about Arsenal as well? They've only won two. They've won 2 European trophies, or I call it 1.5 European trophies.
Okay,
They've
which
won
one?
Cup Winners' Cup.
I mean,
They've won a Cup Winners' Cup when it was a thing, and they won something called the Interfares Cup, which I don't really call as a proper European trophy because apparently you had to be invited to join that competition. So it wasn't even done on a league basis; it was an invitational basis. So they're sticking that into their European cabinet as well.
Seriously.
Give them the break, man. Give them a break.
Yeah, they haven't. We've won more trophies in the past 30 years, and even counting what George Graham won for them, and they want to talk about what they won 150 years ago. You know, it doesn't make sense.
It's just like saying Preston North End are a big club, because it's actually another fact. Arsenal weren't the first club to go unbeaten. Preston North End, in fact, were the first club to go unbeaten. Yeah, they were the first Invincibles, and I think that's when it was only 22 games or 24 games in the league. They finished unbeaten. So they can't even claim.
Yeah, but you know what? You know Arsenal. But you know Arsenal. They like to claim everything, though, don't they? Arsenal, Banter FC, man. They like to claim it all, don't they?
Claim it all, man.
They're the ones that were the first Invincibles.
They can claim it all.
Yeah, and the only difference.
Look at Giroud. Giroud is an exception to the rule.
Yeah,
but you know the difference. You know what the difference is between their unbeaten season and our season under Mourinho, where we only lost 1 game, is that Van Nistelrooy missed a penalty and Anelka scored a penalty, and that's the only difference between their unbeaten season. Yeah, last minute penalty. Missed, and Anelka scored against Manchester City.
That's true.
Even in that season, we beat them, right? But even in that season, we beat them.
Look what Steve Chelsea posted.
Yeah.
That's true.
Lads,
that's very true, man. Wow.
Lads, this has been.
Hey, thanks for the history, man.
Excellent,
for the history, guys.
This has been a fantastic stream. Thanks to everybody in the chat. Listen, if you're in the chat and you haven't subscribed to Baggy TV, what are you waiting for? If you haven't liked the video,
get on it.
Why?
Get on it, guys. Smash the like button.
Guys, I will be streaming one more time in the next couple of days. Then I'm going to be taking a little bit of a break because I'm going to be traveling.
Nice.
We're traveling back to the UK, so I should be back in the UK next week. So I'll be hopefully streaming from my car again. Yeah, for the OGs, you know what I'm talking about. Yeah, so lads.
Yeah, but Baggy, quick one for you. Yeah. If Haaland and Hakimi, if Haaland and Hakimi sign, bro, you'll be doing 2 days of streaming, mate.
I'll be streaming from the plane, man. I'll be streaming from the plane.
I'm pretty sure you will be in the UK before Haaland signed. That's for sure.
Oh man.
Oh, yeah. Hopefully. Listen, guys. What? Yeah. Dwaki, I'm sure, mate. Respect. Listen, guys. Subscribe, like, and share. And I will see you all probably tomorrow, maybe the day after. Have a good one, lad.
Big up,
guys.
Peace out. Take care. See you later. Bye.
I'm trying to find the outro. Here we go. This is the outro. Take care, lads.